Majmudar, which is in Gujarat. And this is my first time coming to Neem, and it's a lovely festival, and I'm so happy to see you all here. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm the author of this book, The Monster Who Could Not Climb a Tree, and I'm going to read to you a little bit out of this book. Were any of you there earlier in the book reading? Okay, so you already know how the book starts. But for everybody else, I'm going to read that part again. Okay? Okay. So, can you all see the cover? Okay, what do you see? A boy and a monster. Anything else? A tree and a village. Okay, yes. So, this is a boy. His name is Avi. Any Avis out here? No? Okay, so this is a little boy called Avi, and this is his story. And the tree is a borsali tree, which is a tree found many places in India, and it's also found in Baroda, where I come from. And as a child, there was a borsali tree in my garden, and I used to love to climb on it and sit for hours. So that's why this tree is also an important character in the story. Do any of you like climbing trees? Anyone here? Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, great. Okay, so let's start the story. Okay, so if you can see, Avi is getting together with all his friends. Okay, so Avi seemed just like any other boy his age. He loved pastries and pani puri. He hated homework and early mornings. He played kabaddi with his friends, read stories with his father, and made paintings with his mother. But Avi had a terrible secret. He was sure his friends and family had no idea. How could they? Avi kept it to himself and never spoke of it. He just went about his business like anyone else. Like today, when he met with his friends to play kabaddi in Mrs. Kambata's compound. See, this is Avi meeting up with all his friends to play kabaddi. Kabaddi, 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 said Avi, holding his breath as he raided the opposing team's half. His arm outstretched, he lightly touched the opponent, spun around and dived for the center line. But the player he had touched completely denied that he was out. He touched someone and he dived for the center line, and this guy says, "Oh, I'm not out." So obviously an argument broke out. A lot of name calling, lot of shoving, until Mrs. Kambata came out of her house and broke up the fight. "Okay, you people stop fighting, go away," she said. So Avi was obviously very angry. Look at how he's walking. He's angry. He was fuming as he walked home. They were such cheaters. It was a good thing Mrs. Kambada had come when she had, or else everyone would have known his terrible secret. Now, what is the secret? Avi had a monster that lived within him, a really bad and dangerous one, and it woke up every time Avi was angry. So now, do you understand what the monster is? It's the anger monster. It lives in his head, and that is his terrible secret, that whenever he gets angry, this monster wakes up. So why do you think Avi calls it a monster? Yes. Yes, but why does he call anger a monster? Because monsters can never be happy, yes. It made him do terrible things, yes? Yes, you? Just one minute. Sorry, yes? Okay, the monster never let him be happy, yes? Okay, yes. Yes? It made him turn to stone. Okay, it made his soul turn to stone. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's see what happens next. Okay, so Avi, now he's very angry because he's fought with his friends and he's going home, he's fuming. And once he got home, he threw his shoes in a corner and stormed towards his room. But hello, who was this? See, there were people in his room. There were two adults. It looked like they were measuring walls. They had taken down his swing. So he shouted, "Ma, what is happening here?" So his mother called out, "Come to the kitchen, beta. Let those guys finish up there." So he's like, "Finish what? What are they doing to my room, mama?" And he cried, rushing to the kitchen. And his father was also there with Neha. Now see this little girl. She is called Neha. And who was Neha? She was a 3-year-old girl that his parents had just adopted and whom they seemed to fawn over 24 hours a day. Or so it seemed to Avi. So his mother says, "Avi, we talked about this. You're going to be sharing your room with Neha. And those people are taking measurements to make furniture for her, like a bed and also now you'll be sharing your room with your little sister." So now Avi, the monster, was stirring, threatening. "But what about my swing?" he said. So his mother said, "We have to remove it. There isn't enough space in the room for it anymore. We'll try to put it up elsewhere." Now the swing was Avi's favorite place in the house. So he said, "But where will I read?" So his father says, "You have the whole house to read, Avi. Won't it be nice to make room for your sister?" But Avi gets really angry. So what happens? See, there's the monster that comes out of his head, and then he comes home and he finds that people are making changes to his room and he gets very angry. Does that happen to any of you? How many of you feel angry? I do. All the time. Okay. And does it happen that sometimes you're angry about something else, right? You're already angry, and then when you talk to another person, that anger just comes out, even though it's not that person's fault. Does that happen to any of you? It happens? Yes? Okay. So that is what is happening with Avi right now. The monster was fully awake and raging now. It banged its steel hammer on Avi's head and it then breathed fire, which made Avi's forehead sweat. You all sweat when you're angry, no? You feel hot, you feel uncomfortable, right? And then it took control of Avi's tongue. Now, what do you think this means? What do you think it means when he says it took control of his tongue? Yes. It took control of what he was saying. All the words. Yes. Yes, it made him say really bad words, which made others angry as well. Yes, at the back. Yes, the monster is personifying anger. And here it says it takes control of his tongue. So because he's so angry, the monster is making him say things that he doesn't really want to say, things that he doesn't really mean, but he is so angry that the monster inside him is just controlling what he's saying. Yes?
From his anger did the monster get made? From that boy who was so angry did the monster wake up?
Yes. See, the monster woke up and it came out of his head, and you can see it is shouting, screaming, controlling his tongue. So and then it took control of Avi's tongue. So what did Avi say? He screamed, "She's not my sister. It's not my fault her parents died. Why did you have to bring her here? You're supposed to be my parents, not hers." So now this little girl called Neha, she's adopted. Do you know anybody who's been adopted? You do? Okay.
Can you pass on the mic? Pass on the mic to him?
Yeah, lizard. Okay. But okay, so see, Avi has been a single kid all this while, right? And he's been with his parents alone, and his parents were always attentive to him. And now, suddenly, there is this new person in the house, and the parents are giving her a lot of attention. They are, playing with her, fawning over her, and he feels that he's being neglected, right? But instead of saying that, what does he say? He said, "She is not my sister, and I don't like her." Right? That's what he says. But that's not really what he means, because when he was playing, he got angry, but then he had to walk home, so he didn't really fight with anyone. He was just sent home. So he was already angry. He hadn't spoken about it. He hadn't let it out. So then, when he got home and this other situation, completely unrelated, was happening, that all of that anger came out.
Yeah, and if you remember, he also thanks Mrs. Kambata to come and intervene.
Yeah.
Otherwise, monster would have come out.
Okay, so I'm going to move on. So he screamed at his parents, and he ran out of the house. He ran past their gate, past the neighbor's house, past Mrs. Kambata's house, and into the empty plot further down the lane. He quickly got to the tree he was looking for, a huge old bursali tree which was fruiting at the time. He knew the way up and could manage it in just a few seconds. He knew exactly which boles and branches to use at footholds. He was about halfway up was a spot with 3 diverging branches that formed a nice little platform he could sit on. And he sat there. His breathing quietened in no time. You see, the monster couldn't climb this tree. Avi did not know why. Maybe there was something magical about its rich red wood or deep green leaves that scared the monster away. A few parakeets flew to the branches above him and started to eat, twisting their necks in all directions to reach the sweet and sour borsali berries. A few tiny and colorful sunbirds flitted about quietly. This tree had been around since before Avi was born, and it had been his favorite tree for as long as he could remember. Avi spent hours on it, sitting and watching the birds and the squirrels, and in the right season, eating its tart berries. The tree's branches were so thick with leaves that Avi could barely see the people and the cars down below. Even their sounds grew faint. All he could hear were the melodious tweets of magpie robins and tailor birds, and occasionally the harsh call of a rufous tree pie. The birds always seemed to be telling him that things would be okay. So now do you understand why he climbed the tree? Why did he climb the tree? So that he could get relieved. Okay? Yes? So that he could escape the monster. Why do you think that? Please, I'm sorry, but please raise your hands when you want to speak. I can't hear it when 2 people are talking at the same time. Let him finish, then I'll come to you. Yes, please. The monster made him angry. He didn't want the monster to be with him. Yes, and then why did he climb the tree, but? Because he wanted to get rid of the monster. Yes.
Hi, can you use the mic? I'm so sorry.
But the monster came from his head. Whatever he thinks, the monster will do.
Yes, the monster did come out of his head. So whatever he thinks, the monster will do. But yes, he ran because he liked the tree. Yes. Yes.
He ran to the tree because the tree is a calm place and monsters. It's an angry monster. The angry monsters can't go into calm places.
You're absolutely right. So the tree is a calm place, and the angry monster cannot go to a calm place, right? So it's his favorite tree. It's been there since his childhood. So he goes there and he calms down, and the monster cannot follow him there because all the birds are his friends, and he just feels calm and peaceful when he's over there.
I think because the tree is his favorite place, and the monster doesn't want to go on the tree because he's scared of something on the tree.
Okay, so it was his tree, and he knew that his monster could not climb it. Okay, yes.
The monster couldn't climb it because the monster was in his head, and the monster could not come out of his head.
Yes, the monster could not come out of his head because he felt very calm in his tree. And okay, I'm going to move on. See, before I do take a look at the tree. Doesn't it look like a place you would want to sit and spend hours? Yes? Where you could read a book. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so it was dusk when Avi reached home. His mother was sitting at the computer putting together some architectural designs for work. His father was busy entertaining Neha by flinging pieces of fruit up in the air and catching them in his mouth. They both turned to him as he entered. "I'm really sorry," said Avi. "I was actually angry about something else. But I should not have shouted." His mother asked him if he wanted to talk about it, but Avi refused. His father beckoned him to come and play with Neha. Avi crept closer and joined them at the table. Soon he too was trying to catch pieces of fruit in his mouth. The monster didn't show itself for a few days, but it came roaring back to life when Neha splashed paint all over Avi's prized painting of a palace. So Avi had made a painting of a palace, and Neha splashed paint all over it. So again, the monster came out. So his mother said maybe she was trying to paint flowers to add some color to your palace. And Avi says, "No, you don't know that. She couldn't possibly have told you. She doesn't even speak. She just wanted to spoil my painting." Okay, so this, now what happens? Now the monster is back again. And what does Avi do? He runs to his tree, right? Okay, so when he sat on the tree this time, a woodpecker greeted him. Do you know what a woodpecker is? Yeah? Okay. Have you seen one here? No? Any of the other birds that are there on this tree? See, there are sunbirds, there are menas, rufous tree pie, sparrows. Which other birds have you seen? Sparrows, yes? Peacock, okay. Cock, hen, okay. But if you take a look around you in the trees, there will be so many birds, small sunbirds or menas. Just take a look around you. Okay, this is a great green space, and Bangalore does have a lot of birds, so please do take a look. But yeah, coming back to Avi, he was greeted by a woodpecker. So what does a woodpecker do? Tuck, 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 tuck. Yes. So knock, 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 knock. It knocked all the resentful thoughts out of Avi's head, and Avi felt himself calming in its rhythm. He began to feel really bad. He hadn't meant to say those mean things to Neha, mean things about Neha. He knew that she couldn't speak because she was still in shock over the death of her parents. He actually liked her. She kept following him around the house and trying to figure out what he was doing. Do any of you have younger siblings? Yeah? Okay. And do they follow you around trying to see what you're doing and trying to copy you? Yes? You try to copy your big brother? Okay. How many of you have older siblings? Yeah? So do you do that? Do you follow them? Oh, that's very nice. That's very nice. Okay. So now what did Avi do? As a peace offering, He lent Neha his paint supplies and he sat with her to paint flowers. She seemed to understand what he was saying but never uttered a word. They took a large sheet of paper and he showed her how to make the champa and parijat flowers that grew in their garden. Neha, on her part, dabbed a lot of paint on the sheet and swished it about with her brush. Oh well, so much for flowers. But she was smiling, and Avi smiled back. She seemed to like painting. That was one thing at least that they had in common. So now he's slowly discovering that they do have things in common. Maybe they can, be siblings. Okay, her question is the monster still there in Avi's head? How many of you say yes? Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And how many of you say no? 1, 2, 3. Okay, equal. Why do you say yes? Whoever, one of you who said yes. Yes, why do you think it's in his head?
Even though he hasn't let it out, he still has it inside him for when he gets angry. That time it'll let out.
Yes, so it's still there in his head, but it's not out, it is sleeping. When he gets angry, that's the time it wakes up and it'll come out. Okay? Okay. So a few days later, when Avi came home from school, he saw that a guest had come to visit them. His parents were talking to a tall man with a beard. Avi went to the kitchen to get some water and happened to overhear the conversation. Oh, you will love this neighborhood, his father was saying. It's the center of the city and it's very quiet and peaceful. You see, it's a very old neighborhood. So the plots are all spacious and it's very green. So the man said, ah, yes, it is. But I'll be cutting down some of the trees, like that borsali, for example. The construction of the bungalow will require some space. So now you see, this guest has come to their house, and he's having a conversation with Avi's father. He's clearly the person who has bought the plot of land that borsali tree stands on. It was an empty plot, remember? So now this person has bought it and he's planning to build a bungalow on the plot. And he says that, oh, in order to build the bungalow, I'll have to chop down the tree. And Avi overhears this. So what do you think happens?
Avi gets angry and gets his monster.
Yes, he gets so angry. Now look at the monster. It has 3 heads. That is how angry he is. So now the monster has taken over. The tree is not in the way. It was here before you. How can you be so selfish? He shouts at his guest. And then he's struggling for words. He's that angry. But his father then stands up and starts walking towards him. His father looks livid with anger. That how can you say such things to our guest? This person is our guest. How can you talk to him this way? So, but Avi, he runs out. He runs out and he runs all the way to that empty plot and to get to his precious tree because he's desperate to climb it. But the monster was really hurting his head and he needed to climb the tree soon. But that wasn't going to happen. There were langurs on the tree, about 20 of them. So Avi just crumpled onto the ground and cried and cried. He cried till the monster had finished twisting his brain and he was exhausted. As his sobs quietened, he felt a small hand on his arm. When he looked up, he found Neha looking at him, her face full of concern. She just stared at him for a few moments and then opened her mouth and said, Bhai. Now this was the first word that he had heard her talking because she was so small and she was still in shock and she was not able to speak up till now. But when she saw that Avi was crying, she felt so much concern that she actually started talking. And Avi was so shocked when he heard that. He was so shocked that he stopped crying. And just then, his mother came up running. Ma, she's talking now, cried Avi. She called me Bhai. And his mother looked confused for a moment. Really? That's amazing. But Avi, you've been here for 20 whole minutes. Have you been crying this whole time? She sat down next to him. She said, Beta, what is wrong? Please talk to me. Avi didn't know what made him do it, but he burst into speech. Ma, I don't know what happens to me at times. I didn't want to say those things, but the monster made me. I mean, it lives in my head. Then he didn't know how to continue, but his mother seemed to understand. And she said, Yes, Avi, anger does that to people. But he said, But that's not me. I don't want to be like that. And his mom says, I know that, beta. She put her arm around him. How do I make it stop? Said Avi. His mother was silent for a while. I'm not sure how, but you could try to take a deep breath and think of other things for a while. If you don't listen to the monster, maybe it will go away. But more importantly, we need to understand why the monster keeps coming back. Are you angry about something? You can talk to me. Is it about school, about your friends, about Neha? So Avi says, no, it's many things. Like you don't spend time with me anymore. His mother hugged him tight. She said, I'm really sorry, Avi. I guess we didn't realize you felt that way. You know we love you, right? It's just been a very difficult time with your aunt and uncle passing away, with Neha coming into a family. It was also sudden and we are still adapting. So his mother apologizes that, sometimes adults also make mistakes. We didn't realize that we were doing this. And it's so great that Avi was talking to her now, that she could find out what was going on. And then Avi thought for a moment, Ma, I want to tell you about this tree, he said, pointing to the porcelain. The monster in my head cannot climb it. So his mother said, is that why you spend so much time up there? When you were younger, I used to worry all the time that you would doze off and fall down. So Avi smiled. He said, when I climb the tree, the monster just go away. Please, please, Mom, don't let it be cut down. And his mother says, I'll see what I can do. It turned out that Ma could do a lot. A few days later, Avi was once again sitting by the tree observing a troop of langurs on it. He was wondering what would happen to the tree. But just then, Mr. Patel, the guest who was planning to cut it down, he entered the compound with Avi's father and Neha. And Avi rushed to him and said, I'm very sorry, uncle. I should not have yelled at you. I know that was wrong. So he said that, I understand that this is your land, but it's just that I've always thought of this tree as my tree. And I was very upset that you were going to cut it down. So uncle laughs and he says, no, I won't cut it down. I never realized that anybody, you can love people, you have pets, you love animals, you've seen that. But uncle had never seen that anybody can love a tree so much. So he was really surprised by it. And Avi says, I do, uncle. It's my second home. I mean, not just me. There are so many birds and langurs and all of these creatures that also call it home. So please don't cut it down. So uncle says, I won't, beta. Your mother is quite the architect. She gave me several alternative designs for my bungalow that won't require the tree to be cut down. Your father spoke to me several times too to convince me not to cut it. So now his parents intervened on his behalf because Avi finally started talking to them. Do you ever talk about your anger? Do you ever talk to your parents about what makes you angry, when you're angry, how it makes you feel? Yes, you do? Who else do you speak to? Yes?
My sibling.
Your sibling, that's great. Yes? You wanted to say something? No, okay. Okay. So then Avi ran to his father and he hugged him for a long time and said, Mr. Patel has even said that you can visit your tree. And Avi beamed with joy and he said, I don't know how to thank you. I don't know how to thank my parents. As his father and Mr. Patel walked away, Avi plonked himself back down on the grass and looked up at his beloved tree. The langurs were still there. There was a baby langur playing with another young one. So there were langur siblings also now enjoying the tree. And then Neha placed her tiny hand on his knee and climbed onto his lap. So now he's befriended her and they're both sitting by the tree. And that's the end of the book. Yes. Tell me your thoughts on it first before we move on. I have some questions for you also, but I want to know if you have any questions for me first. Any questions about the book? What did you think of it? Awesome. Okay. Anything other than awesome? Okay. No, anything longer than one word answers. What inspired me to write my book? So I wanted to write about nature in a way. So I love wildlife. I love birds. I love going to the forest. But if I think about what got me interested in wildlife, I wanted to write from the point of view of a city kid, because I was myself a city kid, and how do we access nature? And I remembered this tree in my childhood that I really used to love to climb, and so I thought I will write something from that perspective. Yes. Is it a non-fiction or a fiction? It is a fiction. Okay, now I have a question for you all also. So Avi has this anger monster who cannot climb a tree because that is his safe space, right? So I want each of you to tell me what is one place that helps you feel calm. A place where your monsters cannot go. Like, do you have a place where you go which just helps you calm down? Reading books, yes? Reading tent. Okay, yes? Near your windowsill. Okay, yes? Reading, writing, yes. Playing football. What about you? Sorry, I can't hear you. Play on your hammock, yes? Take a walk. What about you? Sit on your swing, yes? Sit on your garden swing, yes? What about you? Okay, play football and sit on the steps of your house to read books. That's great. It's so great that all of you have a tree, like a metaphorical tree, or all of you have a space that helps you to stay calm. And I hope that you keep going, finding such places in your life. And whatever monsters you're dealing with, whether it is anger or it is stress or it is nervousness or whatever, I hope that you get a chance to talk about them and learn how to overcome them or to tame them. And I hope that that's the message you get from this book. So thank you all so much for being here. Yeah, thank you.